team and then went on a run of your own. What did you speak about in that huddle you had coming out of that timeout? And what can you say about your team's response tonight?
We just looked at each other and kind of had that look like we got this. Just kept giving each other confidence that, just settle down a little bit, one possession at a time, get what we want on offense and just focus on defense. I just think that we all looked at each other and kind of knew like, okay, this is the moment. We gotta get better here and, stop this momentum.
Thanks, Kate.
Ali, did it just feel like after game 2, things just kind of clicked together where it felt like the energy really carried over from game 2 to tonight?
Yeah, I think game 2 was a reminder of, how hard it is to get a playoff win and what we have to bring in order to win, continue winning in the playoffs. So sucks that we didn't have that reminder for the first game, but, we have it now and, we know how hard it's going to be to continue getting wins.
Eric Wilson on Zoom. Eric.
Ali, congratulations. As you look ahead to your next potential matchup, what are some of the takeaways that you can take from these past 2 games and actually the series in general to kind of motivate you moving forward?
I think just defensive intensity, energy, and just kind of starting off really strong in that first quarter and setting the tone for how you want the game to be.
Next, we'll go to Carly Bell, Marquee. Carly.
Hey, Ali, congratulations again on the win. It looked like veteran experience really kicked in the fourth quarter. What can you just say about yourself, Candace and Courtney as well, just really kicking it into that fourth, maybe even fifth gear in the fourth quarter for you guys to pull out with the win?
When I see them on the court, I have so much trust in them. I want to live and die with them. So I think that we all just kind of looked at each other and knew that, we can do it. It's going to come from all of us. And that's kind of how we've had our season this year is everyone's kind of stepping up in their moment. And I think that's what happened in the fourth quarter.
And then one other follow-up early in the first quarter, Johannes really came out strong with 9 points early, and then you guys just shut her down moving forward. What were those adjustments that were made defensively heading into the second quarter and moving on?
I think it's just like attention to detail. She was getting a lot of them off the handoffs, which is a really hard thing to guard when, the post is going one direction and they hand it off the other. So I think it was just attention to detail and knowing that, when she's coming off, we have to be aggressive with her. So I think we made those adjustments.
Last question as well. After Sabrina had that 5-point play in the fourth quarter, coach called the timeout. What was said in that timeout for you guys to really calm down and make sure that you guys could run away with the win?
I think it was just having extra focus, discipline, and just kind of was like a calming down timeout. We knew went on a run. It was a great timeout just to kind of stop that momentum and just kind of get back to us. So it was just kind of a way to calm down a little bit.
Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Mike Hughes, ASAP. Mike.
Hey, Ali, congrats on the win. I was wondering, when you look at game 1 and you look at the loss and that it kind of ignites a spark into the team and understanding that, nothing is ever promised. For you guys, carrying that momentum into the next series, would you say game 1 was actually more important than not?
Yeah, like I said before, I think it was just kind of a reminder of how you have to play. We kind of played game 1 like a regular season game. And I think game 2 reminded us that, you have to elevate your game in the playoffs. No one's going to get any wins by playing how they did in the regular season. So it was just kind of a wake-up call to continue that energy for the rest of the playoffs.
Thanks, Ali.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Gardner, nuts and bolts. Stephen.
Hey, Ali, congratulations on the win. So you guys have been, of course, doubling down on your defensive efforts, but in turn, you guys have also been taking care of the ball as well as you have all season. 10 turnovers last game and only 9 today. Can you speak to just how much more effective your offense is when you get those efforts defensively and then you take care of the ball to the extent that you guys have of late?
I think everyone's just kind of zoning in individually on their strengths. We all know when, our weakness in terms of turning the ball over, and everyone's just kind of focused on not doing that. So I think it's just an extra level of focus, which is, what you need in the playoffs.
Go in. Second.
The crowd tonight was loud and kind of right, throwing blue towels everywhere. Was that did the crowd affect y'all at all? And was it odd playing an elimination game? But when you guys finished the season the way you did, not at home.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of knew this was coming with, the playoff format being announced a while ago, so, we just kind of told ourselves that we were in elimination games, a couple times last year, so we mentally got ourselves ready to just win on the road. We had a pretty good road record this year, and I do remember the crowd at one point and just saw all the towels flying. I'm like, all right, we got to pick it up. We can't let this crowd get into it.
Alexa. Hey, Ally, before the game, James was saying that the focus, I guess, going into the series or into tonight was maybe 60-40 defense versus offense. And you guys get so much attention about your offensive identity. How much focus has there been on the defensive end, I guess, this series, across the season, even compared to last year? Is that something that, how is that important for you guys to run it down?
Yeah, I think especially in this series, the defense was huge. You saw in the second game that so much of our offense came from our defense in terms of getting steals and transition layups. So we know we're at our best when we're getting stops and able to play free and not play in the half court. So that's something we're going to try to continue for, the rest of the playoffs, just to let defense kind of dictate our offense.
Last one.
Ally, are you a fan of this playoff format? Do you think it's fair?
To
have this elimination game on the road so quickly.
I mean, I think the best is like 1-1-1, but I understand what they're trying to do with like travel and everything, but I would prefer 1-1-1.
Real quick, as players enter the offseason here, what advice would you give to a young player who is choosing to play overseas during the offseason?
Like a rookie or something?
Yeah, a young person who's maybe signing their first or second overseas contract and is making that choice. What advice would you give?
I would just say be a sponge and really try to learn the European style. I learned a lot in Europe from different coaches and older players. You have a lot of practice time over there, so just continue to learn and just get better.
Any more questions for Ally? Thank you, Ally.
Thank you.
Love James Wade and then Clay Copper up next. Yeah, I got it.
I voted like either team brought in. Yes. I like one we're gonna come in Kansas.
Right.
Like that.
Whoa.
They
Oh.
both play fine. It's not like they play.
You mean for this?
Yes.
Oh, you meant like, just generally, I was like, what? Well, I mean. Well,
14, 13,
yes, it should be here.
figure that the sound bite on Sports Center is not gonna lock it.
Right, that's a good point. I bet you would be. Oh, and it's driveway, but it's not like right now.
So let's see.
Or you need pressure. No. Be a lot of money. So with Annie, and then we'll go.
And you said in her post game that you guys have gone to another level. How would you assess that? Do you feel like this team has gone to another level after tonight's game?
I think, after the first game, I can say that we've added another level of play or another sense of urgency that we needed to get to. And I think we were just building on that from following that second game. So looked good tonight. I mean, they made a run. It's a good team. Made a run and we were able to keep our composure and just come out and respond. So I think it starts for us on the defensive end. And I think the last two games have kind of showed us that.
What was said in the huddle as the Liberty went on that 7-0 run? You guys came out of the timeout or in that timeout, what did you say to your team as they started that fourth quarter?
I just told them to keep their focus and, a couple of mental mistakes that we made, we couldn't make them. So, we just bonded together and we just came up with a plan and we executed.
Hey, Coach, Andy Lipton with Woom Hoops Guru. Quigley and Vanderson, day in, day out, year in, year out. I can't remember a backcourt that played together and started for the same team. I mean, you may have to go back to Kuzi and Sean. What does that mean to you as a coach to have two players who played together so long together?
It's special. I have a special relationship with the two of them. The fact that, I was fortunate enough to not only coach them here, but to coach them in Russia as well. And so you see the work that they put in and day out. And they just want to win for the team. So they're going to do whatever it takes to win. And so I'm really proud of the way they responded and the way they, led us all year. Last two games, you've seen the Quigley step up her defense. And it's been recognizably, at another level. And so we just, we're proud of her for putting everything she can into winning. And Sluta's been leading us all year. And her ability to just be clutch at the end of games is just amazing. And their chemistry together on the court is just as magnificent as it is off the court. So we love having the both of them. And they, when you think of Chicago Sky basketball, they're two names that quickly come to mind.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.
James made that run to cut it to 3.
Yeah.
How much did it help having such an experienced championship team that you could tell them, hey, just get focused and they would right away instead of like maybe a younger team might be like, okay, we're in a big crowd and things are going crazy here and who knows, but you guys have been there and done that before, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, we've been there and we in recent memory where we, it came down to the end of the game and in the first game and, we knew we let one slip away. So we just tried our best to just really focus and hone in on the things that we had to do. And it started on the defensive end and we were able to make that run right after.
Thanks, Dave.
Coach, after game 2, did you just feel like everything kind of just clicked and came together from this team? Like it really felt like you all fed off the energy going back from game 2 to practice yesterday to here. I mean, did you feel that at all today?
Yeah, I mean, we did. We knew what we had to do. And, they were all like on a mission, and you can tell it was a collective mission. And I think we just decided that it's go time, and we wanted to show what we were really made of, and we responded in game 2, and we just built on it after that.
Hey, James, I'm curious where you think Sandy's team has to go and do in the future to sort of get to the level where you guys are right now, when it comes to sort of this, like a younger growing team.
Not really my concern. So like, yeah, I don't even feel comfortable answering that question. I think that's a Sandy question. She knows she's been coaching longer than me, so she knows where they need to go. I could really, yeah, I mean, I say this with all respect. I love Sandy, I love Olaf, but I could care less, really. I wish the best for her though, and wish the best for them, but she's got it. She's got it. She's a good coach, and she's got it. But I'm just worried about Chicago Sky teams.
James and Kyle, if you want to chime in too on this, you mentioned wanting to see your team build from game 2 into this game tonight. What were the specific areas where you saw that growth on either end of the floor?
I think our staff did a great job at just anticipating adjustments and what they were going to try to do. I think our staff is just incredible. We planned for the things that we knew they could possibly do out of all the things that we were trying to stop. So I think that as far as adjustments, I think we were top tier. And then I think we just controlled runs. They went on a run and we stayed poised. The crowd got into it. We just came back out and still just continued to throw punches and just got the crowd to settle down.
Sandy talked about in her post-game press conference that you guys have reached a new level. How do you feel like this team reached a new level tonight?
Yeah, I think that, building on the last game, we saw a flash of a team that we really want to be consistently. And I think with the experience that we have and what we felt in those moments, like that's the team that we want to be, and that's the team that we want to continue to grow.
And then I asked James pregame about the bus ride over here, and he said he was sitting too close up front and he didn't really hear what was going on the bus, but he did say you guys seemed focused. So how did you guys carry a new level of focus into this game that specifically applied to that run and helped you guys through that run?
I think it's tough, coming on the road for a big game like this. So everybody was just laser focused. It's nothing there's nothing to talk about. It's nothing to joke about. Like, we already know what we came here for. It's a business trip. So, the ride over is just everybody just getting into their zone and locking in on, what's ahead. So I think that was the vibe coming over, and just once we got here, everybody just locked into what they wanted to do to get prepared for the game.
Carly Bell Markey on Zoom.
Hey, Kai and Coach. First off, congratulations on the win today. Kalia, first off, we've talked a lot about the depth and especially the veteran experience of this team. The fourth quarter really seemed to be that's where the veteran experience kicked into the third gear. How important has that been to you guys in this playoffs, but specifically in game 3?
It's been super important. I just sat in one of the timeouts where, they went on a little run, and I see James and Sloot and Candace, putting it all together. James is drawing something up, and Candace is chiming in, and Sloot is saying, we're gonna do this, and we're like, and to see them, like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching this all develop, and then we go out there and we execute, and then we come back down, and like, just to see them like really like connect, and like, it's just like, I'm like, wow, like I'm just learning. I'm just sitting here and just trying to do whatever I can do. But, I think that's the experience and that's the leadership that we need. And it really just carried us down the stretch.
And then also it looked like after the game, you went up and saw some friends and family in the stands at Barclays. What was that whole, interaction like in the stands, just seeing everyone there in support of you?
First of all, shout out to Carly for giving me my 45 tickets. Shout out to the executive of the year who probably paid for the extras. But it's nothing like playing in front of your family and your friends and having that support, knowing that somebody's out there in the stands. I had little girls come from my camp, it's a 9 o'clock game, it's late. I had little girls come from my camp and just be excited, and my friends, my family, my nieces, just to see me win on a big stage and be successful. It was just amazing. I was just glad that they got out for this late game.
And then final question, Coach Wade, Allie Quigley cashed those back-to-back 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. It seemed like that was where the game just got put to bed. We've talked a lot about just her shooting, and you've called her the best shooter you've ever seen. I mean, what else can you just say about Allie Quigley and what she can bring to this team offensively?
She was amazing. She was locked in from the beginning. She picked and chose her spots. And those shots were very key to our run. But like I said, like everybody knows she's an amazing offensive player, but when she locks in the way she did defensively down the stretch, then it takes her to another level. And you just have to respect the shot making ability that she has. So, and she complements that by being a great screener and being somebody that moves off the ball really well. So couldn't come at a better time, but that's something that we come to expect from her.
Sorry, one last question for either one of you. I know you guys want to celebrate the win, but we also got to look ahead to the semifinals. What are some of the positives that you saw out of today that you want to take into the semifinals outside of just the intensity and energy that you guys have?
Well, well, I think it's a lot of things we could take away from it. Our composure, our ability to stay together and really play for each other. Like we were in passing lanes and they couldn't get comfortable. And even when, even when they made their run, you can tell it was a good team that was fighting for their life, but we were able to respond, and we took our defensive intensity up to another level, and we were able to get steals and deflections, and they were throwing balls out of bounds. And so I just think that we have to build on that, and we have to stay that constant team, because us in the last 8 minutes going on that 22-7 run was I think it was the thing that just put us over the top, and our defensive intensity and the way we were there for each other was just top tier.
Thank you both, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Mike Hughes, one question, please, Mike.
Hey guys, congrats on the win. My question's for Ka. The other night, Sloop called you the engine of this team and really one of the players that just makes everything go. But having 5 players alongside you in double figures, how much does that help you free up your game and just allow you to be yourself?
I think it's great, when you have you're playing with a lot of great players. I don't think that anybody can just key in on one person on our team. That's what makes us so special. So I'm just glad that I can play with such great players, and I'm able to still do me in a sense. But I just know that consistently, I just got to bring the energy and be that person for us, whether it's offensively, defensively. So thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Ka.
Yeah. Stephen Garner, last on Zoom. One question, please.
Hey, y'all, congratulations on the win. My question is for Coach. So you guys were really nailing your rotations today on the backside of your hedging, whether it was soft or hard hedging. And even more so than that, you guys were disciplined, only had 9 fouls, and that's something that you've harped on all season and defending without fouling. Can you just speak to the overall discipline in the execution that you guys have shown over the last 2 games?
I think you broke it down good. No, I thought, we were disciplined. I thought we were on a string, and I felt like our closeouts were very, they were very disciplined, and they were, we closed out with intent, and everything was very deliberate in everything that we were doing. And the communication was really good. And that's, we've done it 2 games in a row. And I just think we have to stay there and just build on it. So for every foundation, you build another tier, and it becomes who you are, especially at this time of the year. We will play well for the rest of the playoffs. So, but as long as we continue to trust each other and play with intention and play with the aggressiveness that we have been.
Last 2, one question, please.
Hey there, Meredith Cash from Insider. Thanks for taking the time. This question is for both of you. Allie was just up here saying that you approached game 1 sort of like a regular season game, and basically said no one's winning games that way. How do you avoid falling into a similar trap going into a new series? and keeping up this intensity that you've had in games 2 and 3?
Like I said before, I think we saw a version of ourselves that we fell in love with and that we want to grow on. And it's just no going back, you know, we done set the tone. So anything under that is just unacceptable. So I think that we know how we want to play and we know what we're capable of, and that's what we're gonna do.
Last question, second row.
This question's for James. You talked about coaching in Russia as somebody who's had positive experiences there, but also in light of what has happened with Brittany Griner. What do you make of, men's professional players and maybe some women, American signing in Russia going forward?
I mean, I'm not one to judge. I can only say that it's something that I wouldn't do. I'm not in their shoes, so I don't understand I think it's it'll be disrespectful for me to comment on whatever their life is and what they're doing. It would be tough for me to go there, have a personal relationship with BG. I coached her for a while, and and in light of everything that's going on, it's really unfortunate. So, but I don't know who signed there and who's going there, and I don't know what's going on. So I'm sorry. I wish I can answer that question, but I just know from my standpoint that it would be really tough for me to put myself in that situation, especially right now, and especially with BG being so far away from home. We want to get her here and get her home, and hopefully, things have been quiet, but I have a lot of faith that they've been quiet for a reason. So I just look forward to her being home and being around her family and just getting on U.S. soil.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Kalia. Thank you, everyone.